Welcome. I hope this video finds you well. In the previous video, I had shared how I will come back and give a little ritual for the summer solstice. And so here I am. Um, so today I'm going to talk about the summer solstice. And I also want to touch up on the word ritual because I feel like it's a bit misunderstood or people just tend to have a negative connotation to it. But let's talk about the summer solstice. What is the summer solstice? The summer solstice is when the sun is at its peak, at its highest, especially here in the north, and when nature is in its fullest expression, in its fullest bloom. It's a beautiful time. It's very much one of my favorite seasons. I love all the seasons, but summer solstice is one of my favorite, also because it's my birth season. Um, it's really a time that kind of pulls us away from the preparation that we go through from the spring equinox to the summer solstice. So if you notice in nature during the spring, especially again here in the north, if you notice during the spring, oftentimes we wait for the snow to completely stop. And a lot of gardeners, including myself, we start to tend to the soil, deciding on the seeds that we're going to sow, and just a lot of preparation goes into um, making sure that the soil is right to receive the seeds that we are sowing. If you look at nature itself, the tree starts to become a bit fuller in itself. Certain plants or weeds starts coming up. These things that are taking effect are not just to nature itself, it's also affecting us. For some of us, that's when we start deciding, you know what? Maybe let's look ahead to the summer months and start making preparations to decide when we're taking vacations, where we're going to be taking vacations. We look at our closets and decide on the clothing that are no longer appropriate for us to carry on into not so much of a warm of a hot season, but a bit of a warmer season. And for some of us lately, we started thinking, hey, I need to shed. I need to shed some pounds. Some of us go into detox and whatnot. So it's reflective in nature as much as it is also reflective in our lives. So again, where the spring equinox is talking about preparation and letting go and removal of things or whatnot, summer is at its full bloom. We're no longer being asked to be preparing anything. We're asking to embody what we've learned, what we've let go of, what we've picked up over the season, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the gifts in itself. Because no matter what's happening, no matter how it looks, it's always the gift. So summer is all about rest. I find a lot of seasons we go through, I want to say growth, bloom, harvest, and then rest. All these four things equally happen within every season. And then we're at that season where summer itself is all about bloom. You know what I mean? Is as much as the four growth, bloom, and again, harvest and rest happens, we are in the second part of everything where it's saying what? Bloom. So summer is about resting. We've heard of it being said, hey, stop and smell the roses. That's what summer is all about. So everything is at its peak, at its bloom, as it is for you as yourself. And you also need to pause and rest and relax a little bit, soak in the sun and eat most of the foods that are in season um, I want to say to fatten yourself up, but to enjoy. Now to touch up on the word ritual. Again, when we hear the word ritual, a lot of people right away ascribe this negative connotation to it. It's obia, it's juju, it's something horrible that's happening. And that is really not what it is. Um, Ritual is deeply human. It is very, very much aspects of ourselves. The word ritual, when we look at it, it is action performed with intention and meaning. So it's I mean, it can have its negative aspects of it because some things that you do are good for you, some things that you do are not good for you. But the word ritual itself does not mean necessarily it's something negative right there. It's something that we are doing, we have a habit of doing that essentially we can empower it or expand it or increase it by bringing attention and meaning to it. So ritual is not necessarily a bad thing. What rituals can we mention? Prayer, your morning coffee, your morning shower, your evening shower. When we gather with our family and during the holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving. So it's not something that we need to necessarily be afraid of. Now, Now, why do we honor the seasons? For millions and millions of years, of our ancestors have always honored the seasons, and they understood something fundamental that I feel like us modern humans often forget. And to piggyback, they didn't observe the sky or watch the dance of the cosmos because they were primitive, but it's because, again, they really understood the gifts in honoring the seasons that comes in. They understood something that a lot of us tend to forget, that we belong to nature, that we are nature. Essentially, we are nature itself. A lot of us forget that. That's why I mentioned in the beginning, as nature is doing this thing in the outward aspect of living within us, there's also something that's taking place. What's happening is a lot of us don't really bring um, attention, conscious attention, and intention to really participate fully, to allow ourselves to evolve and to grow in a conscious way. One main thing about this channel is I feel like I want people to understand that everything starts and begins with you. If you are not right, you cannot teach or tell somebody how to be right. It really starts with you. When we take the airplane and something chaotic is happening, we are told often to attend to ourselves first. Why? Because if you cannot help yourself, you cannot help anybody. So for me, the actual work is on an individual level. Albeit quick changes come about as a collective. However, the work starts with you. You cannot teach somebody something that you don't know. If you're going looking for a job nowadays, they're not looking necessarily for someone who simply knows theory. They're looking for experience. So the ancestors knew these things and they honored it. um, they understood the importance of the cycles, and I've mentioned it, that these cycles are within seasons, which is growth, bloom, harvest, and rest. And then these four also equally each belongs to the seasons itself. Growth is when we're talking about spring to the summer solstice, and then during the summer solstice to the autumn equinox, that's where you have the bloom. And then from the autumn equinox to the winter solstice, that's when you have the harvest. And then from the winter solstice again to the spring equinox, that's when you have the rest. All these four seasons are equally within the seasons itself. And you can even say that it's also in the day. So, everything is pretty much cyclical. The ancestors understood that. That is the main reason why they honored the seasons. And I feel like because of all the knowledge and the wisdom that they've left us, we will be doing ourselves a great service to kind of follow along with that. Now, to talk about the ritual. Again, it can be something very elaborate or very simple, but there's one ritual that I feel like most homes do that, again, they don't see it as a ritual, but it is Sunday dinners. The beautiful thing for this season is that this summer solstice is that it lands on a Sunday. So your habitual or ritual Sunday dinners with your family, you can bring more love to it, more attention to it, more intention to it by what you're cooking, choosing the foods and things that are in season, and sharing that with your family. Um, I'm going to mention again that because I believe the work is highly individual, it is important for you to spend some time with yourself and journal. One of the things that you can do if you're able to be up and watch the sunrise is, as you're watching the sunrise, put your hand on your heart and ask your inner self, your divine self, where am I ready to bloom? I'm going to add two more questions below this, and yeah, make the time to sit down, to really look at the spring season, what's changed, what you've let go of, where you've transformed, and look at where you want to be as this season opens up. As the summer solstice brings about, I want to say more beautiful things, and may it be restful, may it be colorful, may it be beautiful, and may it bring you more than you expect. With this, for this, and so much more, I send you all my love and I say thank you.